Hello, it's me, Jessica Bieber, and today I really wanted to discuss if there is really anything such as a quote unquote good K-pop agency. I've discussed this on live streams before, and I was actually quite surprised that a lot of people disagreed with me when I said that I believed that there was no such thing as a good K-pop company. Before I get into my opinions, please do subscribe and hit the bell button because it motivates me to make more videos and we'll be able to see each other more often. So let's get into it. Starting off, I do believe that there are companies that are less worse than others and not as bad as others. But overall, I genuinely do not believe that there is a good K-pop agency. First, I wanted to look at the big three, for those who don't know, which is SM Entertainment, YG Entertainment, and JYP Entertainment. When I brought up this topic in live streams, a lot, and I mean a lot of people have said that JYP is always the best entertainment company, and I've always had to really strongly disagree with this. Firstly, because like I said, I don't believe there is a good company, and I think that a lot of them are as bad as each other in different aspects. While I was looking at JYP in particular, these were the complaints that I found the most. I found that they overworked their girl groups, they underpromoted Stray Kids and GOT7, and both mismanages and mistreats Day 6. They also put the Wonder Girls through a terribly managed and a messy US debut. And let's also not mention how every single one of JYP's female soloists have left because they refuse to manage and promote them correctly. JYP have constantly shown a lack of professionalism. For example, they make ITZY and GOT7 share around 20 members of staff. For context, each division under JYP has about 20 staff members that manages their groups. Other active groups share with 2PM and JYP himself, who are barely active in the first place. They've posted ITZY and GOT7's content on the wrong accounts numerous of times, which just shows how incompetent the staff are, and it just really makes me wonder, why the hell are you making the two most active and some of the most successful groups in JYP share 20 members of staff? Like, come on. And Jonghyun also uploaded a video where she cried and she talked about how hard her schedule was and how tired she was, but she just wanted to do her best, and that is just showing how much they overwork Twice and their other artists as a whole. And she also confessed on a live that the company don't want her to be feminine. And I don't know about you guys, but trying to take a woman's femininity away from her is pretty messed up and it doesn't sit right with me. And also during a live stream, Momo from Twice revealed that she was told to lose 15 pounds before debut no matter what. So she resorted to eating a cube of ice for a week, because she was terrified that she wouldn't be able to stand on stage with the other girls. And I'm sure you guys always probably saw how much they kept pushing a Jihyo to lose weight when they were competing in 16. So if you're one of those people who really believe that JYP is the best and the goodest label agency, I would invite you to think again, because the stuff I mentioned here is just the tip of the iceberg and just a few examples. There's much more I could say in terms of how they treated the Wonder Girls, Day 6, Baekhyun, and more. So now that I've given you guys some examples on why I don't believe that JYP is the best, like everyone in my live streams has said, I could argue that JYP is just as bad as SM and YG. Some of y'all might jump and say YG is the worst because how they treat Blackpink. Well, yes, YG awfully mismanages Blackpink and never gives them work, but I invite you guys to answer this question, okay? Who did this? Which company cut their idols off from any creative freedom and refused to let them release songs and have sufficient comebacks? The answer is JYP, SM, and YG. For JYP, it was Hatfelt and Baekhyun. For SM, it was FX. And for YG, it was Blackpink and 21. So I personally believe that all of these big three labels are just as bad as each other, because when you really bring up all the case studies of them mistreating their idols, overworking them, not giving them sufficient comebacks, are they really all that different? The only thing I will say is that YG has been exposed for having people in power of their company who are shady and immoral people. So if I was really pushing to say who the worst in Big Three is, I would have to say YG, just to the Sungri and the Burning Sun scandal. But when I look at the management and mistreatment of the idols in the Big Three, they're all pretty much the same, and those scandals don't have much to do with idols management. So next, I wanted to look at labels outside the Big Three, because obviously the Big Three aren't the only ones that exist in K-pop, and I wouldn't be able to cover every single company, but I've been looking at the most relevant companies for this video, and I can easily say that each company I've looked at have done multiple questionable things. So here is a quick fire round of companies and the immoral things that they've done to their idols. Let's go. Big hit, enforcing unhealthy diets on BTS members, threatening their idols, refusing to accept female trainees until 2020, and forcing BTS to work with injuries or conditions. Pledis, ruining Pristin's career, ruining After School's career, both by not giving them any work, not giving 17 members credit who participated in the making of choreography and were not included in the copyrights list, and also enforcing unhealthy diets on their idols. Starship, also enforcing unhealthy diets on their idols, unjustly removing Wonho from Monster X and stop promoting Boyfriend for absolutely no reason. FNC, unprofessional management of Cherry Bullet. They refused to tell fans where 3 missing members were and only announced their whereabouts when they officially had terminated their contracts. They unforced unhealthy diets on their idols, and most recently being revealed that when Mina had came to the company about being bullied by Jimin, the company didn't care and only began to care when they got exposed for not caring. Willem would scare their idols to the point where Sujong fainted, scared Lovelyz with a disbandment prank, also enforcing unhealthy diets on their idols, allowing Lovelyz members to injure themselves with insensible shoes to perform in, and not allowing members to heal properly after injuries. MLD, you guys already know about this, the mistreatment of Daisy and Taeha, making idols pay to debut, constant unprofessionalism and very shady business practices, along with a lack of care for artist integrity. Cube mistreats their artists, especially CLC and Hyuna, enforcing unhealthy diets and blatant accounts of unprofessionalism. And that is just the tip of the iceberg for all of these companies. I feel like there's a lot of subtle things that we miss when it comes to seeing how immoral the K-pop companies treat their idols. Sometimes we kind of just miss out on this stuff because we're so used to it. Let's look at variety shows, for example. They always say, oh, we'll reward you with lots of food, and they get so excited, and we sit there thinking, why do they get so excited over food? And you gotta realize they're so excited over the food is because their labels are probably making them go on a really strict diet, and they're usually not allowed to eat heaps of food like that. It's just little stuff like that that we need to pick up on. And there's also the not so subtle approach where, you know, Blackpink are saying at concerts, hello, we don't have any songs, we want to perform more. Or Jonghyun and Momo and Jihyo all talking about their experiences with JYP on live streams or on Twice TV. We just kind of see it as like a one-time thing and then kind of move on and then stream the next comeback. And it's a bit worrying that we just kind of overlook it. And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not like holier than thou or better than you, because I'm guilty of doing this myself. I'm also guilty of sometimes just turning a blind eye and just completely forgetting about this when I should be paying more attention to it. So don't think that I'm acting like better than you guys, because I also feel like I'm guilty of sometimes not realizing stuff as well. And at the end of the day, you just have to remember and be aware that these K-pop companies are extremely selfish and immoral, and the most we can do is be aware of this and support our idols, speak up for idols, and hope for a change. I think a lot of people turn a blind eye to the mistreatment and unprofessionalism K-pop idols receive, but I think it's something that we should be discussing more. The more fans that speak up about these immoral business practices and mistreatment, the more change we will really get. So I will really encourage you guys to talk about this and spread awareness. There are plenty of cases and instances where each label has mistreated their idols, and I can't include all of them, but they are just a quick Google search away. And the more you realize and the more you research how shady these immoral companies are, the worse you realize it begins to get. And at this point, it's almost a given for companies to enforce unhealthy diets and overwork and have an overall lack of care for their idols. They see them as more as money-making machines and less as artists and people. So remember to support your faves in any way you can, and if you see something up, call it out and raise awareness to it. That is all from me. That's all I'm going to say. I actually think it would be a very good idea for you guys to leave a comment down below of an example of a group that has been mistreated by their company. Because when you see all of this evidence in the comment section, information altogether, it's really showing to see how dodgy the K-pop industry is. And I also just think it's a good idea to talk about these cases because it'll probably raise awareness to people who don't know. And I think the more information that's out there, the more people can talk about it and start a discourse, you know?